Good evening, Dhamma friends. I wish you the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem to begin today's Sutta study class. Today is January 29th, Saturday, the last Saturday of this first month of 2020. Actually, we do not feel 1 month passed in this year, and we would be experiencing this every month, at the end of every month. And without our knowledge, the whole year would be gone by, in a quickest way. And when we engage with something, especially with the Dhamma, we don't feel time pass because we are mindful about what exactly arise in us and pass away, not these conventional truth. Anyway, it is this Saturday that we conduct the Sutta study class in January for the last time, to encourage ourselves in the Dhamma. And we definitely learn something from each Sutta study class, at least to penetrate on necessary elements of the Dhamma. So to begin with, I just want to pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha. Because of him, we all come to this level of happiness and peace and civilized life. So our respect goes to him all the time, not because he wanted something from us, but because it is also beneficial for us to sustain in the noble teaching and also discipline. Let me recite the Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and in English to respect the Lord Buddha, the teacher we all respect. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. In this class, today we focus one of the famous discourses in many Dhamma discussion. The name of the discourse, as you can receive the flyer, is Nibbedika Sutta, Penetrative Wisdom, or Penetrative Exposition. So this discourse is recorded in Anguttara Nikaya, the section number 6 of the Anguttara Nikaya, because it has 6 factors. In Anguttara Nikaya, we can see numbers in Sutta, so that the record was done according to the numbers of the discourses. So this Sutta, Nibbedika Sutta, or Penetrative Wisdom or Exposition, is really important because in this Sutta, the Buddha talks about 6 things we should know, and each factor should be understood by different ways. When we read the discourse, we can understand that these main 6 points should be understood in in number of ways, so that the knowledge and of the Dhamma of the particular 6 factors come to maturity, and we can apply them in day-to-day life, just to, as you know, let go of a negative emotion and develop wholesome qualities in culminating the enlightenment. I just want to share this at the very beginning, and I have done this several times in the past discussion. If you want to read suttas before the suttas discussion, there are 2 things you can do. One is Google the sutta name. If I have given the sutta name in the flyer, just look at it and Google it. Most probably you can find the English translation of the suttas. And then if you have any difficulty of looking for the particular sutta you would like to read before the sutta studies, email me and I would definitely send you, at least if sometimes some suttas are not translated and published online, publish them online, upload them online, so that we can look at the books and take pictures of them and send it to you as attachment. So that is that should be remembered. If you like to read discourses before the sutta studies, that are the two things you can do. Let me begin by saying that this discourse is a long one, and each 6 factors could be explained in details so that the listeners and participants understand those concepts very well. But I may not be able to do it today due to the time constraint. However, let's go through on factors as much as we can, and if there is anything left, we can take them next week. So let me begin the sutta. So this sutta was also delivered by the Buddha when he was at the Jetvanarame monastery. So he said, "Bhikkhus, I will teach you a penetrative exposition of the Dhamma." I have been using Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation for this discussion, but you can find translation of Bhikkhu Thanissaro and Bhikkhu Sujato online. Maybe they are going hand in hand, similar translation, except some words they use to define some terms, Pali terms. Buddha said, I will teach you a penetrative exposition of the Dhamma. Listen and attend closely, I will speak. Yes, Bhante, those bhikkhus replied, and the Buddha said this. Bhikkhus, what is the penetrative exposition of the Dhamma? What is this penetrative exposition? In Sinhala, it's Vinivida Dakima. You are not seeing the outer layer or whatever you see and decide that it is like this. You are trying to see the things behind what you see. Let me give an example for penetrative wisdom. Have you heard about the differences of the lion and the dog when something is thrown to them? It is also a simile in the tradition, in the Buddhist tradition, that when we throw a stone to lion would not see the stone itself, but lion would be looking for from which direction the stone came from. But the dog would definitely run behind the stone or the stick, and the dog never sees the directions where this stone came from. So that is a simile to differentiate the wise people as well as foolish people. Foolish people, in other words, those who are ignorant, look at the results of something, and that is all they can do of an incident, of a thing they experience. But the wise people always look at the incident, the results of something, and as well as the reason of why this happened, how could that happen, which directions it took to come to here, and so forth, just like the lion. So why do we take this example? Penetrative wisdom is quite similar to that. So you see certain statement of people, certain actions people did, and you see people quarrel and struggle with something. And if we have penetrative wisdom, we would be looking for reasons why this happened and what kind of mentalities people had and characters people had to intrigue this problem. So penetrative wisdom is always looking for something behind, something deep, something profound, based on current visible experiences, results, and so forth. So that is a way to look at penetrative wisdom, Nibbedika Panya. So the Panya wisdom is being categorized by the Buddha in many ways. If you look at Anupada Sutta, where the Buddha talks about Venerable Sariputta's abilities in wisdom, he talks about Mahapanya, Putupanya, and then Nibbedika Panya, and then what are the other panyas he talks about. So I cannot remember everything, but there are different names for panya, just to specifically mention what exactly this panya does. So Nibbedika Panya is penetrative wisdom. When you have it, you don't feel that I need something. I need, basically with regard to feeling, we have pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and neutral feeling. So with Nibbedika Panya, you don't enjoy the pleasant feeling as somebody does. Because you see what this feeling is. And with unpleasant feeling, the way you behave is different than no average people, because you have that deep wisdom about how this unpleasant feeling come into existence. So like that, Nibbedika is always breaking things down and seeing the things behind the curtain. Before we go into the Buddha's analysis on Nibbedika Panya, I just want to give a kind of idea what Nibbedika Panya or penetrative wisdom is. Bhikkhus, what is the penetrative exposition of the Dhamma? Now we are going to see the penetrative exposition of the Dhamma. Let me read the part you want to hear first. Sensual pleasure should be understood. The source and the origin of sensual pleasures should be understood. The diversity of sensual pleasures should be understood, and the results of sensual pleasures should be understood. The cessation of the sensual pleasures should be understood, the way leading to the cessation of sensual pleasures should be understood. How many things we should understand with regard to sensual pleasures? First one, sensual pleasure. What is sensual pleasure? Should be understood. Second one, source of or origin of sensual pleasure. Third one, the diversity of it. The fourth one, the results of sensual pleasure. The fifth one, the cessation of sensual pleasure. And the sixth one, the leading to the cessation of sensual. So, with regard to sensual pleasure or kama, the very Pali word, we have to understand 6 areas of it. Sensual pleasure itself, and the origin of it, and the diversity of it, and then the results of sensual pleasure, and then the cessation and the path leading to the cessation. If you, or if all of us, go on these 6 subcategories of sensual pleasures, there is nothing left. You will understand everything about sensual pleasures. So, right, that's the first one. So in the first, I told you that there are 6 factors in this Nibbedika Sutta, and the first one is kama or sensual pleasures. In each one, we have 6 sections to go on. Right? So let me read the second one. Feeling should be understood. The source or origin of feeling should be understood. The diversity of feeling should be understood. And then the results of feeling should be understood. The cessation of the feeling should be understood, and the way leading to the cessation of feeling should be understood. So now you can see the pattern, how the Buddha explained. He explained the 6 factors, which I am going to tell you the other 4 now. And then in each factor, we have 6 things to be noticed. Let me tell you the other 4. First one, kama, the sensual pleasure. The second one, feeling. And the third one, perception, sanya. Right? The fourth one is asava, taints. And the fifth one is karma. In Pali, it's called karma. And the last one, the sixth one, is suffering, dukkha. So in Nibbedika Sutta, these 6 factors are explained in 6 subsections or questions or units, or whatever name you put it, it's fine. And when you go on these 6, you have covered almost all the important factors of the Dhamma, because they are very important elements. We look at sensual pleasure, feeling, perception, the taints, then karma, and the suffering. The right understanding about these 6 is the beginning of the noble training. If you understand them as they are, that completes the first of the Noble Eightfold Path, and respectively and subsequently the other elements of the Noble Eightfold Path should also be there for us to complete this understanding of the 6 factors. That is the kind of skeleton of the discourse. That is the map of the discourse. Let me go into details now. I just want to remind you that you can ask any questions during my explanation. Don't wait me to tell to tell you that this is the question period. You can interrupt the discussion, ask any questions if you want. Now we go to the details. When it was said sensual pleasures should be understood, and the source and the what you call results and so forth, diversity, and what is the main, why is doing that by the Buddha. So bhikkhus, Buddha said these 5 objects of sensual pleasures. So when we say that sensual pleasure should be understood, it is with regard to the 5 code of sensual pleasures. I think you have heard about this before. But anyway, let's read it. Form cognizable by the eyes, that are wished for, desired, agreeable, pleasing, connected with sensual pleasures, tantalizing, and so forth. So the first code of sensual pleasure is the pleasant seeing or sight. In the external world, we have pictures, we have different things to see. They are absolutely, certainly colors made up of 4 elements, and it is we as people, humans, take them as pleasant objects. It is said in the discourse, Sankaparago purisassa kamo. All these objects outside that we see are innocent in a way, but it is we who see it and create this pleasantness. That's why we have different opinions on one thing, and even one particular flower is explained by 6 people in 6 ways. So our opinions and feeling are different from each other, especially perceptions too. So depending on our perception and the way we feel, we term them into language and express ideas. But the same thing is there, and people have different opinions. So with regard to pleasant seeing, and then after that pleasant hearing, and also pleasant taste, smell, and touch, and these are the 5 code of sensual pleasures. We have different things in different ways, because mentalities or the karma people carry differ from each other. The perception people have differs from person to person, so that we can expect different taste of sensual pleasures, but basically as a teaching, 5 code of discipline is nothing but the agreeable, desirous, pleasant feeling and perception on seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. So that is what the Buddha said here in terms of defining what is karma. Sankaparago Purisasakamo, that famous stanza is here. Let me get it, its translation. This is the Pali word, Pali stanza. Sankaparago Purisasakamo Kama Yani Chitrani Loke. Sankaparago Purisasakamo Tittanti Chitrani Tateva Loke Atetta Dira Vinyanti Chandanti. So the meaning is, they are not sensual pleasures, the pretty things in the world. A person's sensual pleasure is lustful intention. So the intention is the main thing, not those outside objects you see and people you see as seeing. They are not wrong. If you attach to something and if suffering arises, the problem is your intention. The way you look at it is decided by the experience. The way you look at it is decided by your perception, your intention. Pretty things remain just as they are in the world, but the wise remove the desire for them. It is very clear statement of the Buddha. It is our mind with the intention decide what we see and how we see and which way we see things. If we take the Daruchirya's incident into this context, we can see that seeing is seeing. If we have that training in our experience, we do not caught up with any pleasant thing, any unpleasant thing, because we judge immediately that this is only seeing. But average people, average living beings take it is a beautiful thing. It is ugly thing. It is neither pleasant nor ugly. It's in the middle. So this is the way people usually absorb things, take things into their consideration and live in this normal life. But when we come to the absolute teaching and training and discipline, we would definitely take this is only seeing, this is only hearing, this is only tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. But with regard to sensual pleasures, that is what we can expect. So basically, we attach to things. So Buddha said in this stanza that intention negative mind, the intention geared by negative emotions creates craving, sensual pleasures. So that is karma. Now, hereafter, you know what karma is. Wherever you find the word karma or sensual pleasures, this is what it is. Desire or a kind of likeness, wishing for something you see, something you hear, something you taste, smell, and touch. So that is called karma. With this teaching, have you thought that we all have this karma according to the context? If you are living with right thinking, right intention all the time with right perseverance, you definitely do not live with karma, because temporarily you can suppress it. Because when there is right understanding, samadhi is active, there is no place for karma. That is the initial impression we can give to you from the Dhamma experience, because you are evaluating and you are analyzing. Penetration is always there with the samadhi. Even a person who haven't absorbed anything so far, like Sotapanna, can have moment without karma if he or she has this samadhi on karma. So let's go on the other thing. What is the reason, origin for karma? The Buddha clearly explained here. Contact is their source and origin. See, this contact is not the contact we talk about when something touch our body, right? The contact or passa we talks about in the teaching with deep meaning is that when the senses meet their respective object, particular consciousness arises, and these three together is called contact, passa. So the origin of karma is in this contact. When this contact happens, and at the same time, if there is no right understanding, or in other words, if there is ignorance participating in this contact, that is the time or moment where karma arises. So the origin of karma, sensual pleasure, is contact geared by ignorance, geared by other unwholesome states of mind. And what is the diversity of sensual pleasures? Sensual desire for form is one thing, and sensual desire for sound is another. Sensual desire for sensual desire for sound is another. Sensual desire for smell is still another. Sensual desire for taste still another. And sensual desire for tactile objects is still another. And this is called the diversity of sensual pleasures. What does this mean? Friends, the sensual desire for form, the pictures we see, is different from the sensual pleasure for sounds, because you see pictures only through eyes. So the attachment or desire for those colors would be very interesting for a person. But the desire for sound is different from desire for seeing, because of the different senses. The different senses make the differences of sensual desire there. So this diversity is for understanding what senses does. Senses does different things. Seeing could be done only through eyes. There is no any indication that seeing could happen through ears and nose and tongue and the body. And listening to sounds could only be done through ears. So therefore, we can clearly see that each sense has a particular duty and nobody can help for that. But the mind can create form or rupa by taking all information from each senses. That is a different thing. So mind is attached to these five senses, and that's why we have the six sense base. And it could be done that mind can come to the presence of each senses to create same thing, rupa from each senses, the rupa from those information that is coming through each senses. So the diversity of sensual pleasure is something like that. In my understanding, the first sense and the second one, eyes and ears, are the powerful senses, because with regard to the with regard to other three senses, what they can do is limited. The smell could happen as a process when only something come over here, and then only the smell is working. And if you want to taste something, it should be on the tongue, right? Otherwise you can taste it. And touching through the body, tangible object should be closer to the body. They know, but we can see things from faraway places. Nowadays we can see those satellites and other things far away from the earth through eyes, even the sun and the moon and the stars. And secondly, the ear is powerful than the nose, ear, tongue and the body also, because we can hear sounds from faraway places. So basically, out of these five senses, eyes and ears are powerful with regard to the functions they do. So diversity, when we look at the diversity of sensory experiences, we cannot forget this powerful nature of eyes and ears. That's why Buddha named them first and second, and then nose, tongue, body come after that. So that is diversity in many ways. And what is the results of sensual pleasures? The results of sensual pleasure, in part, it is called what do you call results, vipaka. So what kind of consequences you have with karma? You don't say, actually this, I don't agree with this result, but basically with vipaka we use consequences, and with anisansa we call results. So in Pali tradition, we understand in such a way that vipaka is consequences, negative things are considered with vipaka, and the positive thing is positive thing are considered with anisansa and results, the English term. Anyway, so the consequences of sensual pleasure is discussed here by the Buddha. One produces an individual existence that correspond with whatever sense pleasures one desire, and which may be the consequence either of merits and demerits. This is called the results of sensual pleasures. Let us see the Pali Sutta. It is said, Yanko bhikkhave kame mano tajjang attabhavang abhinibbanteti punyabhagyang va punyabhagyang va anuchiti bhikkhave kamana vipako. So with regard to karma, some karma might give you negative results, then some karma might give you give me a second. I'm looking for the sutta. Anyway, I was trying to look at the commentary of it. Here, what the Buddha said is, one produces an individual existence that correspond with whatever one desires, and which may be the consequences either of merits and demerits. This is called the results of. So when we experience karma, sometimes it produces merits, sometimes it produces demerits. So with regard to seeing the Buddha statue and doing something normal can be a helpful thing for the society, and still looking for karma. Still it is in the sphere of horizon of karma, nature of karma. So demerits, and if you attach to sensual pleasure, and can do many other demerits too. So the karma, karma vipaka could be dangerous in number of ways. If you attach to karma all the time, the lack of mindfulness, lack of wisdom could be increased much more, so that the possibility of getting rid of negative karma is impossible. So that you would be developing attachment, upadana, and the continuous progress towards suffering cycle could happen. So if that is the danger actually. So danger of karma is very much so that the Buddha talks about karma in the first place as the Kamate Patamasena. When he talks about the evil one as a deity, he talks about the Kama would be his area of concern. And when the Buddha talks about the 10 armies of Mara, the first one is Kama. So it's a kind of, brigade. It's a kind of army. So that's why we can see Kama Chanda as the first hindrance of out of 5. So, and Sakkaya Ditthi also has some links to Kama. So that Kama is one of the most dangerous unwholesome. Desire for seeing, desire for hearing, desire for, and you hear and you desire for it. That is the best way to turn it. You listen to, and while you are listening, you like it. So you create desire in your mind towards those hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and so forth. So that is the problem. And if we make the turn upside down, which means you do vipassana while you are listening, while you are seeing, that this is only a seeing and it is impermanent, and you know what exactly happening in the mind. So you are not going to have karma there. So so karma is therefore a dangerous thing for those who are working on the noble training, and that's why they do not see all these thought provocative seeing, hearing, tasting, and so forth. Let's go into the other section where we talk about karma vipaka. Now our next one is Bhikkhu's a noble disciple. Sorry. What is the cessation of sensual desire? With the cessation of contact, there is cessation of sensual desire. So basically, if you know the origin of something, and now you want to stop the origin, you have to deal with the origin, the cause. If you know that the reasons for weed is not taking care of the garden, so you have to take care of the garden well. Then only the weed do not come as a problem. And suppose you are sick, and now you are sick. So if you want to get rid of this sickness, you want to treat the cause of sickness. Perhaps you deal with the results as well. For example, if you have fever, now your temperature is imbalanced, so you have to take medicine just to take the temperature down and to the perfect level, and now slowly the temperature is okay, but you may have some residue of the sickness, so you have to treat the cause of the sickness further with some medications. So something like that. So if you know how things originate, that is the thing you need to consider to cease it. So with regard to karma or sensual pleasures, you have to deal with the contact. And it means that if you want to stop kama chando, kama asava, or sensual pleasures, you have to look at where and how this karma arises. It is in the contact, it is in the posture. When I see something, I feel that I see something, and immediately you have to take the decision to stop that thought process with regard to attachment, with regard to sensual pleasure. So you have to contact. For bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, Buddha has clearly mentioned not to go and see dancing, singing, and not to wear garlands, perfume, and not to wear clothes for beauty, for expecting good fame, and you are not doing anything like that for show up. But in normal average society, you wear clothes just to make you nice and pleasant to others, and to make yourself sometime um, recognized by others. So people have different opinions, different understanding, different things in their life when they use the basic things. But for bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, they do not do then the such things intentionally. That's why they limit their activities too. That's why they limit their necessities too, because they have given instruction by the Buddha to stop some activities. In Karaniyamettha Sutta, we have this term, Salla Hukka Vutti, has a limited number of activities, things to do in your life in order to pay your attention completely towards the cessation of karma. And if you live a busy life as a bhikkhu and bhikkhuni, you are not going to do what monks and nuns should be doing in the train. This is not relevant to lay people because of their diverse life, but there are lay people who have limited their activities for the sake of increasing their understanding on the noble training and discipline. So in order to cease karma, you have to deal with the contact, phassa. Right? When with regard to phassa, we talks about phassa ahara. Contact is a necessity for all living beings. Without contact, you cannot live. It means we need material food, and then what do you call pasahar, mano sanchetana, vinyan, consciousness is a food. And so we, in that four type of ahar or food, we talk about pasta as ahar or as a food. Without that, we cannot live. But what we need to regard there is that, are we seeking sensual places with this contact? Are we looking for something enjoyable by this listening or by this hearing or by this meeting and so forth? So it is our responsibility to check whether what kind of intention I have in this sensory experience. So in order to cease karma, you have to understand what karma is and how it originates and what kind of diversity it has, and also the vipaka, the negative outcomes of it. And then you are going to definitely stop that. From another analysis, we can say karma is there, sensual pleasure, and aswad. There is a kind of pleasantness or satisfaction on karma. That's why people hang on to this. That's why living beings, even divine beings, hang on to karma, because there is a pleasure of upon the karma objects. However, the reality, according to that analysis, that you fed up with karma. Suppose you have to eat the delicious food item every day you like, you are not going to like it anymore because you fed up with the taste. Earlier it was your favorite food. Earlier it was your favorite taste. But now, because of eating it every day for each meal, you are not going to liking it anymore. So it says that there is adina. First you enjoyed it, later you fed up with that, and that is the moment wise people should take to let go of it completely. Nissarana. So Nissarana doesn't happen automatically. Nissarana happens with wise attention. Sometimes people ask questions like this, Bante, yeah, karma is there, and yeah, we should enjoy it because it is a given opportunity for us in this life. We came to this human world with eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And why don't we enjoy our senses? So we are designed to do that. Some people say that. And then over the course of living, it will happen, Bante. when we have children and grandchildren, and when we will be age enough, we will do meritorious deed at the temple, at mosque and synagogue and churches and kovil and so forth. So life should go like that gradually. That is not the discipline we talk about in the teaching. When you are 70s and 80s and 90s, your senses are feeble and you don't feel the taste of those calm anymore, and there is a seemingly natural discipline, but it is not because of understanding, it is because of the age factor. But what the Buddha said here is that you in the Nissarana, you do it with understanding. You are not waiting for you to become 80s and 70s or 90s. You understand that this is temporary. The happiness of calm is temporary, so that we should get out of this. Why do we waste time for something temporary? Why don't we look for something long term? That is how wise people think. So the cessation of sensual pleasures is being talked, and what is the path? What is the path for the cessation of calm? Nothing but this Noble Eightfold Path. As you know, the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, samadhi. So that is the very path we have to understand the calm as it is, the origin of calm also as it is, and then the diversity and the consequences, and also cessation and the path leading to the all these 6 things are done successfully when you enter into the Noble Eightfold Path. It is not anywhere else outside. We have to develop these 8 things in our mind gradually. Just think about it. The right understanding, samadhi, should be in your mind, in the right thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, mindfulness, samadhi. They are all should be in our mind. According to the common understanding, each humans, despite their religious differences, has that ability to at least to start off some of these elements of the Noble Eightfold. But how and why people do not come to this? That is because of ignorance. That is because of wrong association. So if you are, and karma also does a great job here. And if you are born to a family where there is no any belief of the Buddha's teaching or karma or whatever, there are no chance for those people to get into this training. Suppose we are not looking these other religious people down here, but their view is created by parents from the very beginning of their life, and the society is also putting fuel into that you are created by somebody, and don't believe other teachings, just go here and there, and everything is decided by the God, decided by so and so. So with this idea, some people created many thoughts on that, so their view is unbroken. It's been built as a huge wall which you cannot break it into pieces by normal instrument. It's just like a concrete wall. So those people have no chance of having the entrance into the noble teaching. Even at the time of the Buddha could not take people into samadhi because of their karma, because of their strong view. Power of ignorance is so much. We cannot underestimate that. It's so much. Remember this, that you are so fortunate. Perhaps you don't understand these deep discussions sometimes we have because you haven't studied them before. But be happy because you have kind of idea that the Buddha is right. His teaching is not a dogma like others, but it is directing persons to peace, to relaxation, to understand things as they are. And the peak of it is to let go of all mass of suffering. So you have these statement in your mind and you accept those things not because somebody else said, you yourself understood certain things. So be happy that you are in the right track. So friends, practicing noble qualities on the Noble Eightfold Path is the key solution, is the only solution for all kinds of mental or psychological, physical, social, global problems. And if each individual follow these 8 principles, they don't need to change their religion. Just go and worship the God or wherever. So follow these 8 things as principles of life. In my understanding, people are not going to fight anymore because you understand where you came from and what you should do now in terms of being peaceful, and you see the value of peace. So any problem in the global level, in the national level, in the continental level, or in family level, that is because of lack of these 8 or 0 level of these 8. So friends, in order to stop karma, the path is nothing but this Noble Eightfold Path, Majjhima Patipada. So if you want to read more about karma, you can read those Karma Sutra. If you type in the Google the name Karma Sutta, you can find Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta and many other discourses. Buddha speak about the danger of karma with similes. Karma is just like the bones without muscles, bone without flesh. The dog take this bone and try to eat it. There are no flesh on that, the blood, no blood. So the dog but smell good and bite it. At the end, the dog doesn't get any food into his into the dog's stomach. There is only exhaustion left for the dog, and also some injuries happen for him because the dog is biting just the bone. The karma is something like that. We think that something is there to enjoy, but at the end there is nothing happen. For example, if suppose you go to a musical show, so you dance and sing and scream, and so you do all kinds of things, but after several hours you are so tired and you feel, why did I do this? It's so boring now. If karma is so nice and pleasant, and why this kind of negative feeling comes at the end? How many times we have fed up with karma or sensual pleasures after we experience it, right? So suppose we go on a trip to Europe. Yeah, we go to all these historical places. Before you go, you are delighted to go. It's an achievement. But when you go there and see, you don't feel that enjoyment very much. And for me, I have been to many places in Europe, and I always thought that before I before I went, they are all about cement and bricks and buildings and anything made by 4 elements. So when I went there, this thought came to my mind that they are all 4 elements. In the conventional world, there are big construction, colossal buildings, wonders of the world. People dream to come to this place, and now I am here. And what is significant in this? For me, I respect those people who built them, and I respect the people's ideas, definitely. but individually, personally, it is for me only collection of sands and ions, and if I go deeper into analysis, there are only 4 elements. So what you enjoy is seeing that Dhamma in those big constructions and nature. People go to waterfalls and they like to go in the forest just because people say the forest is beautiful. Actually, people enjoy their perception about the forest or the waterfall, not those external things. At the end, what they have done is developing calm sensual desire. Though then the argument comes, then Bhante, how Arahants appreciate the forest. They have also said that water is so beautiful and the flowers on the trees and the singing birds. But friends, Arahants appreciation is there about those objects, about these natural things, but what they basically admire is their understanding about them. So when we come to spirituality, if we rightly say, they admire their understanding about those natural things, not those natural objects. They are only seen for them. They are only hearing for them. They are all actions without any results for them. So friends, therefore, we have to work on the Noble Eightfold Path. That is the center we should always go and check. So that is about karma. I think if we take the other things, we would not be ending them. So I'm very much into the next 5 things in the next discussion. So we spend great deal of time for karma, the first one of the 6, and this is Nibbedika Sutta. So this kind of suttas help listeners to develop their knowledge about Dhamma. So knowledge is information, data. So you have to have them in order to have a full analysis in your meditation. So this kind of suttas should be thoroughly investigated, remembered, and discussed over and over, so that it helps us understand in terms and conditions where the Buddha put us to think more. I think Nibbedika Sutta is one of the great discourses in that category. Remember, penetrative wisdom. When you know karma in this way, when you understand karma when it comes into your mind, because you understand karma, its origin, its diversity, and then consequences, and now you are quite capable in looking for going out of it, and you find the path out of it, for going out of it. So it's very logical and very important. So you remember the Dhamma in a system, with a system, so that you can get it when you have the problem with karma. So that is what I wanted to share at last. So since you didn't I didn't ask any questions during the discussion, please take your time now. I think Dr. Pial has raised his hand, so I think you have something to share with others.
Bhante, when you talk about these stages of enlightenment, say Sovan, Sakrodagami, Anagami, and we see these the fetters, right? So Sakkaya, Ditthi, Vichikicha, Sakkaya, Ditthi, Vichikicha, Silabhat, Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga, right? So in that order, the first 3 fetters are gone in Sotapanna. Sakrodagami is the other 2 are attenuated, that is Kama, Chanda and Vyapada. And the last stage, which is not the last one before, so Sotapanna, Sakrodagami, Anagami level, only Kama, Chanda and Vyapada is completely gone, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, this Kama, Chanda is such a powerful thing, like even before personality view, like Sakkaya Ditthi. I mean, Sakkaya Ditthi is dropped before Kama, Chanda. So Kamachanda, in the sensual desire of the desire for Kamachanda is so powerful, it can be only dropped at the level of Anagami. So it's amazing to see you can drop Sakayaditi before Kamachanda. What do you think of that thought?
Yeah, there is nothing to add to your analysis. You are exactly right, because we see that the clear cut between the average persons and the enlightened person happens when one attain to Anagami. Actually, Sotapanna and Sakadagami are not recognized very well in the society because they have that sensual desire in their thinking and in their living, but Anagami has completely stopped that. So you are right. So that definition is that differentiation is there between Anagami. That's why Anagamis cannot have a relationship with as a husband and wife or any other, just because of this cessation of karma. With regard to Sotapanna, he or she does karma, and there is no complete cessation of that. But there is a difference between Sotapanna layperson and Sotapanna bhikkhu bhikkhuni, because Sotapanna bhikkhu and bhikkhuni do not get any relation, do not get married, and if this Sotapanna bhikkhu and bhikkhuni definitely stand on this Vinaya rules very well. That's why he or she got into that state. I think in my personal understanding, therefore there is a significant behavioral change happen of this Sotapanna bhikkhu and bhikkhuni than the layperson, because the Sotapanna layperson can worked in an office or in the field. Maybe he is having those relationship continuously as husband and wife, or son and daughter, or whatever titles he has been holding, still he or she has them. So, but with regard to destroying Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikicca, Silabbata, Paramasa, there is no difference between layperson and the bhikkhu and bhikkhuni. But the external behavior would be different from bhikkhu and layperson who attain to Sotapanna.
But that's only just you're keeping a precept, right? But the other
precepts,
other sensual desire is still there. The eye, you get attracted to it, even doesn't matter bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, or even as like the layperson, the eye, the sound, the bodily, like say for example, maybe you're taking a precept to become like sexually not in brahmachari, but other than that, the other karmas are still working. I don't think there's a difference between in that situation. No, the other question, sorry, asked just one more. What does it mean by when it says don't get caught up in the features and details? Like, I mean, there is also a sutra, when you see an object, don't get caught up in details, like meaning you want to look at the color, the shape, the beauty, or it's so subtle. Is that what they're talking about, or just see an object, just drop it? Like, what is it like in a sutra?
I think I think both, because depending on the training. But when we come to know average person average bhikkhu, let's say bhikkhu or bhikkhuni who trains this, Chakkuna Rupan Diswa, Nanimittaggahi hoti nanubhyanjanaga. When you see for a bhikkhu, when you see a woman, you have to, suppose this bhikkhu is going on Pindapata into the village, and when you see a beautiful woman, you just one thing that bhikkhu could do in the Vinaya rule, you should look at the ground a couple of feet away from you while you are walking, and don't look at around. Suppose the beautiful singing voice coming by the side of the road, and you hear it, and so you feel that your mind goes toward it. So exactly in that moment you have to say sotena saddang sutva nanimittagga. this is only a sound, and it's true, it's beautiful, but I am a bhikkhu and I am a meditator. I'm looking forward to getting into nirvana. So this is enticing and thought provocative. So it is only so you somehow managed to think about the danger of hanging on to that sound. So somehow you shut your
Adinava. Just look at the downfall.
Yeah. So that is one meaning of behind this Chakkuna Sotena Saddang Sutva Nanimitaggai. So you are not going to let your mind stay with that. In Girimananda Sutta, Pahana Sanya is going with this. For example, if you have Kama or Vyapada or Vihinsa, don't keep it anymore. We know Uppannang Kamitakkang Nadivaseti. Don't enjoy it, keeping it in your mind. Think about Adinava, think about the danger of it. If I live with this, what could happen to me? I would be in diving into all these negative emotions. So monks should have kind of mindful. It's the starting of actually mindful training.
It's a sensory restraint, like a sensory restraint.
Exactly. Yeah. Indriya Sangvara. Sensory restraint is coming with this training. So with karma, if you deal with the karma, you have to have this particular thing you said. See, when you see something, you have to be mindful what you see and what for I see this. And you cannot close your eyes. Definitely you see it, but respective subsequent training should be come into, otherwise you would be in trouble.
Then clinging. So in other words, you prapanya, like you proliferate. So abhinandati, abhivadati, ajosayati. You keep proliferating the whole thing, right? I think there are some Pali terms, just keep going and getting worse and worse, right? Abhinandati, abhivadati, ajosayati, something like that. You cling.
Yeah. So these are the terms actually Buddha definitely used for used to tell what exactly happened. So you, for example, okay, I will see that only for today. Okay, that's all. Tomorrow I don't see. So that's how people start enjoying things. So even tomorrow you are not going to stop it, because the habit of seeing it, habit of listening to it could happen to you. So now you have a kind of file in your negative file in your mind that is active. So you are not going to stop it. So abhinandati, that is, you are liking it. You are liking what you see. You are liking what you hear. So let your mind work on that without any guard, without any advisor. So abhivadati. Now you are going to tell it. You are not only keeping it in your mind and enjoying it, and you are going to share it. You verbalize it. And now with this you are in that. No escape after.
Facebook post is
so that is how we are caught up with sensual pleasures. So it's, as you said, it is so difficult to do, but we should have been doing it. Otherwise, we are not going to catch these wonderful teaching, wonderful taste of the teaching. That's why most difficult thing in this for Magga and Pala is attaining Sotapanna, not the Anagami and Sakutagami Arhan. So the most difficult target is attaining Sotapanna. And once you do that, you see the path and you know what to do, and you are slowly doing it. Definitely, yeah, that's why we have these terms, Niyato Sambodhi Parayano. Definitely, you are going forward to the full enlightenment. Once you attain to Sotapanna, you have that assurance in you. No one should come and tell you what you need to do. So I think that's why Venerable Sariputta always tried to put bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and lay people into Sovan state, so that he knew that everybody then should know what to do. So that is Kama. And anyone else who would like to share the Dhamma with regard to Kama? I think many of you have heard about this many times, and and we know what exactly we should do. But with these explanations and Buddha's statement from different places would be encouraging us to do more over and over. We should do that. So help from this kind of repetitions on karma would be helping us clearing our path further. So if you do not have anything else, I would turn down this session. It's 9:10 now. It's a busy time for me because of many things at the temple. However, I just want to continue Sutta studies and also morning meditation and other program, because I have experienced many times in my life that if I stop Dhamma activities for possible logical reasons, the continuity is broken, and engagement of Dhamma activities for monks is also broken. And you have many teachers online, and so you would be engaging, but I think that breaking the continuity is not good for anybody and for any reason. So even though I am busy with the temple administration and the new projects we are going here, I just want to do this because it gives so much positive energy for me personally, because when I see these educated people in this sutta discussion, it's really encouragement for me. So the merit goes to you, and I wish you more merits for your well-being and happiness in this life, and may you be able to attain any stage of enlightenment in this life by the power of these Dhamma discussions, and also good intention we develop individually in this Sutta discussion. By saying that, I end today's Sutta discussion. See you next week with the same discourse with different elements of Nibbedika Sutta. Until then, may you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.